All right, we're talking hockey. It's an off-season, a long one for the Penguins. It seems like it's already gone on for 3 months, but that's what happens. First, I'm going to get the take here of the Penguins, given what we now know. So, Jeff Hathorn, we've watched the Penguins get swept by the Islanders, and then we've watched the Islanders get swept by Carolina. Has your feeling changed about the Penguins' exit in any way because of it?
I mean, maybe it just shows that they just weren't going to win anything this year because of what's happened. But, I mean, the Islanders were a bad matchup, and Carolina's playing great hockey. So, I mean, it was a flawed Penguin team going into the postseason, and a lot of people had expectations because they won a couple of years ago, not because of the makeup of this year's
I think it makes Rutherford look worse, Jeff. I mean, after the season ended, at his wrap-up, he's like, we need to be more like the Islanders. We need to play more like them. We need to be a system team, disciplined. And then they get swept out of the playoffs. The Hurricanes beat New York at their own game. So I'm on record as saying, to me, because it's a first-round exit and you don't win a game and you get embarrassed, you get doubled up 14 goals they scored, you only got 6. I think it's the worst playoff loss of the Crosby-Malkin era. There might have been more disappointing. You might have felt closer and you got it ripped away from you. But it's embarrassing to go out in round 1 to New York and get swept.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think Jeff said it in his first sentence. The Islanders were a bad matchup. Look, everybody else was talking about how, they want the Islanders, they want the Islanders. If you listen to the Paul Zeise radio show like you should, I was saying that they would rather actually play Tampa or Washington because the Islanders are the exact kind of team that gives the Penguins fits. And so, to me, it's all about matchups. Then the Islanders, to me, are like I said it before the series, and I still say it. It was just a bad matchup. Now, Carolina's got hot. They're playing well. I don't think one correlates to the other. To your point, though, Andrew, I would say that this was up there in the conversation, probably in the top 2 of the worst playoff losses.
So now anytime they run into an opportunistic team that's defense first and wants to sit back and wait for the Penguins to make a mistake.
Have you paid attention?
No, I'm saying you're right, Paul.
Yeah.
But is that always going to be the case with this team, that's always going to be a matchup that haunts them and beats them? You've got to evolve and adapt or die in this league. You've got to figure out a way to beat
the guys on this roster right now.
And I think part of it, part of that matchup, Andrew, is that Malkin and Letang they can't handle this. They can't handle playing against that, and they both lose their minds. And those are 2 really important guys. I just think it's a bad. You're right. They've got to figure out a different way to play so that they can play those kind of teams.
All right, let me move on to this topic, and that would be now with Jim Rutherford saying that there could be change, and with him you would expect change. How big of change is necessary here? We talked a lot about Letang, Kessel, Malkin. Those are the 3 guys, because if you're going to look top-end talent, one of those 3 likely will not be here, you would think, if they're going to be serious about that. So, Andrew, who would be the most logical? And if it's Evgeny Malkin, how much do you need, and how much does your leverage suffer with the fact that he is 33 next season? Yep. He has a lot of money at stake here, and he's prone to these sort of things.
You don't trade Malkin. You don't sell low on a player, and he's coming off his worst year, and I'm confident that it's not the beginning of the end for him. Yes, he is prone to some of those issues that Paul touched on, but he is way down my list of people I want to trade. There's no historical precedent. You got to go back to Mark Messier, the last time a Hall of Fame center got traded. So I'm getting rid of Letang. It's already been proven that they can win a Stanley Cup without him, and they played their best hockey this year, Mike Sullivan's words, not mine, without Chris Letang in the lineup. So he's the guy I'm trading.
Well, I think you listen to – I mean, look, Malkin's not even top 100 all time in the league. I mean,
101.
He's a guy you listen to because I still think that teams can look at him and say, wow, we can build around this guy. So if you put it out there, and the Penguins obviously have to every outlet that, hey, we're thinking about this. Let's see what offers come to our door. It hurts nothing at all to listen to him.
You don't think it hurts the relationship with the player that you shopped him so
You don't think there's
Jeff?
An issue between Malkin and the coach?
There is, and the coach should go then, because...
You're saying they should let go of the coach now?
I mean, historically in sports, did Scotty Bowman win out against Mario? When it's a coach, they're always disposable and expendable. We know that with this team. They won 4 Stanley Cups firing their coach.
My point is, if there is a bad relationship anyhow, if you're shopping him, who cares? I mean, what's he going to get madder or play worse?
I think part of this discussion it goes completely and ignores the fact that Malkin has to agree to any trade that
Right.
they're going to make,
Yep.
which probably means that you take, what is there, 30 teams in the NHL? So the Penguins are one, so 29 other teams out there. Probably that number goes down to what, about 2 or 3 teams that he might agree to go to.
Florida Panthers,
now all of a
LA
sudden,
Kings.
now all of a sudden, you know what they're going to be able to demand to get back in return goes way down
Paul,
because it becomes
you're
a
right.
buyer's market.
I
So
mean-
to me, I'm with Andrew. You don't trade Malkin because you're not going to get the
What are
value
you going to
back.
get for Chris Letang?
But here's the thing. But I will say this: if you're going to trade Malkin, then you might as well trade Hornquist, Letang, Kessel, and just remake the roster
That's
around
not true.
Crosby.
I disagree with that. And here, I don't like to normally get involved because this is your opportunity to debate it. But I look at Chris Letang. If you're going to play what Mike Sullivan, see, this is the rub here. Mike Sullivan plays a certain way. Chris Letang plays it better than any defenseman on that team. Yes, he had a bad playoff, but he was outstanding all season long. So if you get rid of that, what are you saying to Sullivan then? You're not going to play that style anymore?
Well,
It's
as
about
Andrew
moving the
just
puck.
said, they played their best hockey without him.
Well, then you're admitting that that's not necessary then. You play a
Right.
much different style. Okay.
The
Well, that
proof is in the
changes
pudding.
everything.
They put a Stanley Cup over their heads without him in the lineup.
All right, we got to go to Smooth Moves. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go around the horn. This week's Smooth Move is brought to you by Armina Stone. Yeah, they are Pittsburgh's largest supplier of the smoothest granite, marble, and quartz countertops anywhere. Armina Stone. So, top to bottom, begin with you, Andrew. Your Smooth Move of the week is
Bob,
what?
I think this is one you can appreciate. You know, rumor has it you were cutting a rug at your daughter's wedding reception last week.
No rumor there.
I'm going to give this. I'm going to give the smooth move to Mr. and Mrs. Shazier. I
Yeah.
saw the video. They were out there, some spins, some twirls, maybe a little tango action. I'm going to give it to them. I liked it.
Mine will be, since it is marathon day, to Margot Malone out of North Hills High School. Ran her first marathon, won the Zurich Marathon by 4 minutes.
Wow.
First time she's ever run a marathon.
I'm going to go with the Carolina Hurricanes. I mean, there's a team that we basically, like 4 or 5 days before the season was over, it wasn't even sure that they were going to be in the playoffs. Now they're in the Eastern Conference Final, and they basically have looked like a machine that it doesn't matter who they play, they're going to roll through them. So I go with the Carolina Hurricanes.
And they've done it with Peter Mrazek and Curtis McElhaney in goal. Woo. Interesting. And those are the Smooth Moves of the week, brought to you by Armina Stone, who features Pittsburgh's largest indoor stone gallery of granite and marble countertops imported from all over the world to give you the smoothest countertops in your neighborhood. Score a touchdown right now with granite countertops from Armina Stone. Horse racing next.